The pillows are fluff thanks to Miss Emily. The couch is wide enough, join the family. It's all love while we laugh at Perp's criminalities. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup at hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh, please, the puppies need me. Ooh, oh, please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credential stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup and hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh please, the puppies need me. Oh please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credentialed stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup that hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.
Hello, Sofa Squad. How's it going, everybody? What's going on? If you could please drop a number 1 off so that I can hear you there in the... Oh, no, that you're hearing me in the comment section. Thank you, Heather. Thank you with respect, mostly. Hello, Carol. Hello, Michelle and Dawn and Dear Ghost. Hello, Rise Phoenix. I don't know why I'm talking this way. Hello, Indy. Hey, Audrey. Hey, Tori. Hey, Emily. Thank y'all for being here and keeping these cushions fluffed. I do appreciate y'all. I hope everybody's doing wonderful. I hope everybody's doing well. Hello, On the Case. Hello, Dominique. Hello, Curious. Hello, Brenda. What's everybody up to? Y'all, it's Thursday. Hey, Shayna. What's up? It's Thursday night. We're feeling right. Woo, woo. Thursday night. So anyways, I hope everybody had a wonderful day. I hope you're getting ready to have a wonderful weekend. So y'all, we're going to be finishing up the reading through the closing for Erin Patterson. So, and then they're going to be doing their little, like, you know, the, what do you call it? Like, I can't think of the name of it, where the judge tells the jury the parameters, the rule, the instructions. That's what I'm looking for. Good Lord. Yes, now the puppies, they're this one right here. Let's see if he wants to get tucked in. Mr. Bo. Oh, he's in the dog house. Bo has decided every night at a certain hour that he will start fights with every animal and really person in the household, to be quite honest. Let's call it what it is, Bo. Bo especially likes to go toe to toe with Oliver. But yeah, little Bo gets himself a little attitude and just turns things up. Hey, Sandy, how's it going? Hey, Northwest. And then Jake's sitting right here. You can see Jake's head. Come here. Go on. Do you want to lay down or not? I mean, I can't, it's crazy. So anyways. So yeah, so we're gonna read through those, and then yeah, Northwest. Would you say next Thursday they're gonna do the? Wait, where'd you go? Hold on, please hold. Let me catch up with you. Where'd you go? The jury won't start deliberating until next Thursday. Okay, thank you, Northwest. So yeah, so we're a week out from that, right? So it's like, and then there's no telling how long it's gonna take. I think it's gonna take the jury a minute in this one. It depends, though. You never. I mean, I don't know. This is the first time I've followed an Australian case this closely, right? So I feel like they're going to have to go over so much information, but we'll see. So, anyways, So let me pull up my little notes. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be reading through the Guardian and through their like live, just recapping their live tweet, whatever you want to call it, live stuff in the courtroom. Welcome to day. So it's day 35. Okay. So we'll start at the bottom here where it recaps what they heard of the day before. So what the jury heard on Wednesday. This is the recap very quickly. Patterson's defense lawyer Colin Mandy SC says his client was not on trial for being a liar. I mean, okay. He told jurors the court was not one of moral judgment. The prosecution's case that Patterson wanted her estranged husband Simon to attend the lunch so that she could kill him was absurd, Mandy said. The defense said the jury should reject the evidence from the sole surviving lunch guest, Ian Wilkinson, that Patterson served her guests of 4 large gray plates while eating from an orangey tan colored plate. Mandy said Ian was honestly mistaken. Mandy said the December 2022 Facebook group chat messages where Patterson said her in-laws were a lost cause were being used by the prosecution as a distraction from the evidence in the case. He said the messages, which related to a disagreement over child support with Simon, stood out because they were, where are we? Only wait, hold on. Because they were about the only disagreement between Patterson and her in-laws. Mandy says online searches about death cap mushrooms discovered on a computer police seized from Patterson's house showed his client's idle curiosity and was not a person carefully studying the information. I mean, again, it's like it's like one of the things it's like that comes to mind with this is maybe one of these things would be okay, whatever. But then all these things was like, she wasn't studying this. They weren't doing that. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, come on, right? Okay, now let's go over here. Then, so now we're going to get into like what the stuff is, right? Judge outlines trial timeline. So the jurors have entered the court. The Justice Christopher Bill tells the jury he'll be instructing them on Tuesday before they begin deliberations. Gina, no. He says instructions called the judge's charge will take 2 days. He says, I'm working hard to try and compress it. Bill says Patterson's defense lawyer, Colin Mandy SC, will conclude his closing address today. Okay, there we are. Shooba-da-doop, doop, doop, doop. Okay. Now, let's see what they get into. Where are we? Okay. So, Erin Patterson was not an atheist, the defense says. Mandy turns to the evidence of one of Patterson's online friends, Christine Hunt. He says Hunt was not part of the smaller Facebook group chat where Patterson messaged friends about her in-laws, Don and Gail. Mandy says Hunt was asked about Patterson's religious views, while those in the smaller group chat were not. He says this is an example of the prosecution picking and choosing evidence that suits them and ignoring others. Hunt previously testified that Patterson told a wider Facebook group that she was an atheist. Erin Patterson was not an atheist, Mandy says. Mandy touches on his address yesterday, where he said Patterson may have become unwell earlier than her lunch guest because she was tasting the mushroom deluxes for the beef Wellington while she was cooking it. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I didn't even think about that. Because imagine that too. So just pause for a second. You know how you're like snacking on stuff or eating or whatever? Mm-mm. Didn't nothing. Mm-mm. Yep, didn't even think about that. So if it was me, pretend that it was like a legit accident or whatever, they would have come in for lunch and been like, "What? Paul's been dead, right?" Because I would have been eating on the stuff on the way home from the grocery store, but she allegedly had it for so long or whatever. But the way I snack, like I'm eating a meal while preparing a meal sometimes, right? Like today, well, yeah, whatever. We won't get into my food habits for the day today. But I didn't even think about that. So he's like, oh, but regardless if she ate it sooner, okay, so maybe she should have been feeling bad during, like, while they were there. You know what I mean? As opposed to whatever. Anyways, but that was a good. I'll give him a couple of points for that one. I'm like, okay, there you go. There, okay. Well, you got a little bit of a point there for you. Okay, so let me pull up here. Coffee or tea and a trip to Tayeb. Mandy says Patterson's son told police he saw his mother drinking a coffee the morning after lunch. Patterson, who said she had diarrhea at this point, said she was drinking herbal tea. He rhetorically asked if Patterson's son was watching his mother like a hawk all morning, and Mandy says that Patterson's son was not focused on his mother. He accuses the prosecution of ignoring other evidence from Patterson's son that his mother didn't sound like her happy self that morning. Mandy turns to the evidence about Patterson driving her son to a flying lesson in Tayeb, which was later canceled the day after the lunch. The Crown theory, of course, is that she is faking being ill, Mandy says. Why would she go on this journey to Tayeb if she was faking being unwell? Patterson told the jury that on the journey to Tayeb, she pulled over on the highway and went to the toilet in a bush. Patterson's son told police he did not remember his mother going to the toilet or any stops in the journey. This is despite Hold on. This is despite the jury seeing CCTV footage of Patterson stopping at a service station en route to Tayeb. Mandy says Patterson's son did not recall the toilet stop or service station stop. And let me just get a sip of this. Hold on, y'all. Please hold, please hold. I'm gonna hold on, please hold. I'm muting my. Okay. Your Dominique says she needs to teach the kids to lie better. 100%, right? Okay. So defense turns to Patterson. Wait, defense turns to why Patterson discharged herself in the hospital. Yes, inquiring minds are really curious about this one. See, this is what I like hearing, like just the summation of what is the defense saying she did, right? So far we're seeing all the stuff at the wall. Maybe she was eating the mushrooms sooner and she kind of already got sick. How are we going to excuse ourselves from discharging from the hospital when we've been told that we could die from poison? Mandy turns to the evidence about Patterson discharging herself from Leongatha Hospital against medical advice 2 days after the lunch. Mandy says his client testified that she arrived at the hospital thinking she was sorry. Sorry. She was just going to be admitted to get some fluids for gastroenteritis, gastro something. She was not prepared for what she walked into, where she was told she'd be admitted and transferred to a different hospital in Melbourne, she said. Melbourne, she says. She was not refusing treatment. She was saying there were things she needed to do before she was admitted and transferred. She was struggling to process what she was being told. Mandy says Patterson's mind turned to the practical considerations. Patterson told the jury she left the hospital to pack her daughter's ballet bag and attend to her pets. Again, I just I try. See, I have no idea what it would be like to be this sick from poison. So the only thing that I can sit here and relate it to is like I'm just imagining like you get from where I grew up, like okay, you get bit by a copperhead, you know you're getting ready to get pretty violently sick from this, so you go to the hospital, and it's like, you know, okay, oh my God, you got bit, this is gonna be setting in. You're like, oh gosh, I need to go do A, B, and C, and it's like, you're gonna get pretty violently sick here in a little bit. You know, you should probably. This isn't good. Oh, thank you, Emily, for gifting 5 memberships. Woo! woo. Yeah, Kitty Cat says, I can't imagine you'd be driving around. That's my thought. Think about, have you ever been like driving when like you're under the weather, or like some situation where you're like, I cannot wait to get home and just crawl into bed, or like hug the porcelain god, or whatever the situation is. So something like this where, I mean, they're literally dying. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. Right. North Modeling says, I got food poisoning in Ecuador. It was brutal. Seriously. Seriously. I mean, it's like, I'm thinking back to the last time. Well, there's 2 different times recently I got, well, in the last couple of years, I've gotten like food poisoning / stomach bug. No way. No way. If you're like, Paul, if you go drive somewhere, pack someone's ballet bag, or drop a kid off to flying lessons, we'll give you $1 million. I'd be like, you can have it. You can keep them. It's not happening. Ballet bags and flying lessons, not happening. You can keep the $1 million. I'm right here. There's nothing more than you want when you're that sick but the bathroom, right? And this is beyond that. This is, we're having to put you in induced coma, right? I mean, this is bad off. Okay, here we go. So next thing, where there we are. Mandy says the prosecution argued Patterson's phone records showed she did not simply go home and then return to the hospital after she discharged herself. The prosecution said the records were consistent with Patterson traveling southwest of Leongatha. Mandy says the location timeline shows the connections to Outram on that occasion were for less than 3 minutes. Telecommunications expert Dr. Matthew Sorrell provided alternative possibilities, which the prosecution ignored, Mandy says. He points to Sorrell saying one explanation was that the phone was pinging another base station as they moved from the front to the back of the house. Mandy turns to the prosecution's argument that his client avoided medical treatment because she knew she didn't have death cap mushroom poisoning. Mandy says evidence that Patterson was initially reluctant to receive treatment is contradictory to a person faking an illness. If you're pretending to be sick, you're going to be saying, you're going to be saying to the medical staff, hook me up, pump me full of drugs. I don't know. I mean, I also think, see, this is, again, I said this in a video I was making today, maybe about Brian Koberger stuff. I can't remember which one it was, but about basically how multiple things are often happening at one time. So it's like the whole thing of like, it would make more sense if you were faking sick, being like, oh yeah, I'm really sick, get me in the hospital bed. But also you could be, if you were not sick but trying to come off as sick, yeah, that would make sense. But you could also be not sick, scared to death, not planning on what was going on, so you're still making you're making calculated but uncalculated decisions at the same time because you're operating in panic. Like, I think that she was like also operating in this panic way, so that's why we see some stuff that was like really pre-planned, but it's almost like she didn't go down the rabbit hole of all possibilities, because almost like if you're going to plan something up like this, right? So it's like, okay, I'm going to get these things, I'm going to cook them in the thing, and I'm going to fucking kill the family, do all this stuff, whatever, get my day in on the sunshine, whatever she wanted, right? In my mind, I'm thinking you would walk through several different avenues of options of what could happen, right? Clearly, we're not going to think of them all because, yeah, Anne says winging it. Yeah, some of it you're just going to have to wing, right? But you would think that there would just be some basic 101 stuff that you would be like, if this happens, we do this. If this happens, we do that. This is how we want this to go, preferably, right? Yeah, Dominique says she didn't think about this poisoning. That's literally what it comes off like. It's literally like she thought of like, okay, I'll go on iNaturalist, I'll find this, I'll go to that, I'll do this, and I'll feed them the things, and it'll all be grand. And then it's like, okay, that was just like the front end of the crime, right? We've got the back end to worry about. Literally, it's giving, I can't believe we forgot to make up what kind of business we did. It's giving, what kind of business are you ladies in? I can't believe we forgot to make up what kind of business we're in. It's 100% that moment, right? It's like, but play it out in this way. So that's the part that I think comes off as so confusing with it, because I think that it's like she had a plan going, but it just like fell off a cliff. That's exactly what it's like. Like, you know those cartoon commercials where like they go and they fall off the cliff and they go. Brrr, psh, that's what she did. That's what she did. Yeah, Shiver says, like buying a burner phone and leaving your real phone at home with your sister to fake messages. Literally that. Okay, 100%. Okay, let's keep going. Defense turns to argument about children being tested. Mandy turns to the prosecution's argument about Patterson's reluctance to have her children medically tested. He says the prosecution argues this is because she knew they had not eaten the poisoned beef Wellington leftovers. Mandy says Patterson arranged for her children to be tested when the issue was first raised with Dr. Veronica Foote when Patterson returned to the Lee and Gatha Hospital. Once Erin understood the concerns, she made those arrangements, he says. Nurse Kylie Nurse Kylie Ashton, yeah, said the children consuming leftovers was first raised during Patterson's initial presentation at hospital and not later with Foote. Mandy previously said this testimony was not consistent with the evidence of the other medical witnesses. I mean, I don't. That's still not making any sense to me. That one's pretty clean cut to me. You know what I'm saying? Well, here's the next thing right here. Says Patterson's children's consumption of leftover meat. Mandy says the jury have not heard any expert evidence about whether Patterson's kids would become ill from eating the leftover beef Wellington meat with the mushrooms scraped off. He says the jury cannot rule out other possibilities such as death cap mushroom toxins not being absorbed into the meat. Mandy points to evidence about some samples of the leftovers being negative for these toxins while others were positive. Does this not show that the distribution of amatoxins is very inconsistent with those samples? Now, to me, again, from my sofa speculation, or my little like, if I was on the jury, I'm thinking no. It shows that she made non-poison ones. I mean, to me, that's just how that argument would stand up more if she had made a solid beef Wellington and cut it in slices. And it was like, oh no, we went down the thing and we ate the last three pieces of it, and I scraped the things off, and they didn't get poisoned or whatever. I'd be more like, okay, well maybe I mean, hey, weird things have happened, right? You know what I'm saying? But the fact that it's all separate, I'm like, yeah, she just. I mean, again, North Wilding says, hold on. When North Wilding says, did she actually not weigh the pros and cons of her plan or what? I don't think she did. She did not make a list. Northwest says, I assume she made 2 batches of mushroom paste. Yeah, exactly. I assume the same thing. I think she literally had 2 of every. Well, she had the individual things, and then like you said, I think she completely had 2 different batches of stuff. I think the ones maybe she did the kids. Yeah, she could have scraped. Okay, so yeah, pretend that she already knew that. Well, I don't know. I'm thinking too much for her. I think I'm giving her too much credit right now. I'm playing out this whole script in my brain. Okay. Yeah, Katie Cat says I don't think she thought past the lunch. Yeah. Okay, please hold. Let me find my screen. There we go. Evidence shows Patterson was unwell after lunch, defense says. Mandy turns to evidence about whether his client was unwell after the beef Wellington lunch. He says his client's he says his client's diarrhea had not subsided without medical intervention when she attended hospital 2 days after the lunch. Hadn't subsided without medical intervention. What'd they do? Bring her some anti-diarrhea stuff? I mean, come on, right? Okay, anyways. He points to 3 test results which show Patterson was unwell, which do not rely on her self-reports. Low potassium, elevated hemoglobin level, elevated fibrinogen, fibrinogen. I can't say it. Mandy reminds the jury of evidence from Professor Andrew Burston, who reviewed Patterson's medical records but didn't assess her. He said Patterson's medical results from July 31st showed she presented with a mild level of dehydration consistent with the with the diarrhea. The evidence supports Erin Patterson becoming ill from the brunch. Now, here's my thing, too. And again, I'm no doctor, none of that stuff, none of that fancy credentialed stuff. Okay. You know how when you go do blood work and they're like, hey, hey, SWT, do, what do you call it? Fasting. And if you don't do the fasting, well, there's two versions, right? You can still have stuff, to come up, whatever, but not doing the fasting, which I'm notorious for. And they're like, oh, did you eat right before? Oh, well, that's why blank is up. And that's why this is up. So I'm assuming when Erin had this blood work done, they did it, that it's like she had probably already had food that day or whatever, right? Now, she's sitting here saying that I would even question. See, this is why, and I'm trying, y'all just brace yourselves or whatever. If I was Erin, I would have been like this. I would have been like, when this started popping off, whatever, I would have gone to Wendy's, gotten their chili. I'm talking about a bucket. Okay. And then I would have gone and gotten some X-Lax after that and been like just eating it, right? And being like, y'all, I can't, something's not right over here. But I don't even think she did that. It sounds like she was just peeing in the toilet and then telling the doctors that it was diarrhea. Do you remember that nurse that was like, she was telling me the stuff in the toilet was diarrhea, but it didn't look like stool. It was like she peed in the toilet. So it makes me wonder where she got her blood work done. If it was just like regular blood work that like anybody's would raise these numbers or whatever is off about them, right? I don't know. Your predecessor, you're giving her too much credit. I know, right? I think I'm thinking way too hard about it. Like I want to, like it's not that I want her to get away with it or anything like that, but I feel like there's just so many little avenues when you look at this where that's the one thing with this case particularly. I mean, obviously we talk about Lori Daybell and Alex, like now that all that info came out about, how obvious they were, but this case in general, because this really is where it's like, I, I'm still lost for words with it. I'm like, what was she thinking? It's just what was she thinking? Wait, hold on one second. Yeah, Brenda summed it up. She's a bless her heart. Yeah. We're at the bless we're at the bless her heart level with this. Katie Kansas. They died and she only got butt water. Yeah, right. Literally. Literally. I mean, I appreciate that, Angie, and I mean, I do because I try to be pretty transparent, like about my bias on stuff, but I also try and look at it from every angle. Where I'm like, wait a minute, what if they did this? What if they did that? Whatever, you know what I'm saying? And see, Dee says she more than likely thought it would be dismissed as simple food poisoning, and I wondered that Dee, if she was like, they're gonna think it's food poisoning, and just a family tragedy. A family tragedy. Okay, here we go. The store bought dried mushrooms. Mandy turns to the evidence about Patterson saying she bought dried mushrooms from an Asian grocer in the months before the Beef Wellington lunch. He says she was never saying to anyone she was certain which suburb the shop was in. Mandy says the prosecution argued that Patterson didn't tell health officials what dried mushroom packaging looked like until later on. But he says the four medical witnesses who first spoke to her about the Asian grocer did not ask her this. He says they asked if she still had the packaging. It's an example of answering the question you're being asked, he says. You need to think about the question Patterson was being asked to assess the answer in light of it. Mandy says Department of Health official Sally Atkinson was the first person who asked Patterson what the packaging looked like, and Erin answered it. This to me is almost again like one of these things like this. Like pretend, okay, so pretend I'm sitting here like this. Pretend there's a dead body on the floor in front of me, and the investigator's like, Paul, is there a dead body on the sofa next to you? I'm like, no, absolutely not a dead body on the sofa. And I'm like, they didn't ask me if the dead body was on the living room floor, so I didn't tell them, right? They asked if the dead body was on the sofa, right? And it's not. Okay, it's on the floor. Hey, Jessa, how's it going? Um, so I'm just like, it's kind of like, you know, six one, half dozen the other, however you make that little saying or whatever. Hey, oh dear. Oh, it's scary. We got thunder going on here. Okay, let me get back. Hey, Cyrus, what's up? I'm glad you're here. Hey, Brenda Redmond, what's up? Hey, oh, we have scared little babies. We've got thunder. It's a very scary time of the evening. Okay. Mandy says one of the small number of Asian grocers visited by Troy, a Manesh city council worker, matched the packaging that Patterson described. A very specific memory, one you could readily accept as true, he says. No, I mean, I don't know, whatever. Okay, wait, what's the title of this one? The next one is Dehydrator Conversation, a Turning Point. Patterson's defense says. Mandy says a conversation between Patterson and her estranged husband, Simon, on August 1st, while at Manesh Hospital, was a turning point when her dehydrator was raised. Patterson testified that Simon asked her if she had used a dehydrator to poison his parents. Simon denied asking this. Mandy says that's when the wheels started turning. The possibilities that foraged mushrooms went into the meal. Mandy says the meal was clearly a suspect, and child protection was involved. He says the jurors know that his client's life revolves around her children. She starts panicking and she starts lying at this point. Mandy says if his client had come forward with a realization at this point, it would make no difference at all. Mandy says from this moment, Patterson began to conceal that foraged mushrooms went into the meal. She feared if that was found out, she would be held responsible, he says. None of what she did after the lunch could change what her intention was at the time of the lunch, Mandy says. Now, so here's my thing on this. So this is where we're getting into this. Now, again, this is where it's a little bit tricky because like not watching it verbatim and doing this and that. This is the first I'm hearing. So she's going with I put foraged mushrooms in. Because this whole time I've been like, we're not getting, hey, Leslie, hey, lady, hey, April. We're not getting this solid, definitive, they came from this, they came from that. Or are they saying that, is she trying to insinuate, y'all help me out here, like I'm kind of like asking this, is she trying to insinuate, I got the mushrooms from a grocer that they were foraged? I mean, I guess that's part of like what's missing from this puzzle. She is going with the foraging. Okay, so she's going with that. On Stand At Trial is the first time she said foraging. Okay, thank you. Hey Rose. Yeah, because I can't remember. I can't keep up with it all. That's been this like very gray where it's like, okay, where are we at with this? And honestly, I mean, I know I've said this a million times. If she had gone with one thing from the beginning. Now I know it's hard to like backtrack. Well, listen to this. Obviously, if the truth was told, there would be no reason to keep up with everything, right? I mean, that's that old saying goes. However, if I'm talking from the onset of this, bam, oh my God, I accidentally forged these. And I don't know what the laws are in Australia. If she could have pulled off a involuntary manslaughter kind of thing, if that's a thing, right? Um, But to me, her best bet, and it still could be, right? I mean, the jury's not even out, is to go with the accidental foraging. Now, again, I'm not trying to help her get out of it, but I'm just going based on the whole thing of like, okay, because that seems if there wasn't, here's the thing, it's almost believable because imagine you accidentally, like, pretend it's legit. You're forging, you're learning how to do this, you're doing these things, blah, 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 and you're like, oh my God, I foraged death cap mushrooms and accidentally cooked them up in my family's meal. And it hits you where it's like, that's why my husband said that. They all think I killed them. I could see a moment of panic where you'd be like, okay, oh my God, the dehydrator. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can see that moment. But there's so much, like, she ran with that level of panic, and I mean ran with it. But then the other part to it that doesn't make sense, and again, it's like this. It's almost like you would have had to have made one solid beef Wellington, cooked 2 batches of the mushrooms, done one side of it, like you knew that was the tricky side, and then you ate the other ends of it and just hope for the best, right? But there's these little things she could have, like, really finessed this, you know. And Kimber says, yeah, but if you're innocent, you confess. Exactly. I think you would have the panicking moment and then be like, oh my God, this is what happened. Oh my God, I think I messed up, y'all. Here's where the food is. Here's the things. Here's the dehydrator. Bam. Just it's the lack of comments. I mean, seriously. And Northwest Africa, but then those pesky factory resets, one of which is while the cops had the phone in the session. I just wanted to see what the button would do. Like, girl, you pressed the button 3 other times. We knew what the button did at that point. There's no other reason to push it again. Okay? There's no other reason to push it again. We know what the red button does in the panic room, okay? We don't need to hit it 3 times. That's the whole thing. Like, that right there, those factory resets, ain't no reason for them. Factory resets when you get rid of your phone. Like, you're turning it back in. You're like, I don't want people seeing all my cheap and tawdry stuff on here, my TikTok history, all my stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, her and Stearns. That's literally, like, when it comes to my mind, like, Stefan Stearns and Erin are the factory reset queens. One phone still missing. So 4 times to be sure. And I definitely, yeah, yeah. I don't even know how do you factory reset a phone? Like, how would you factory reset this phone if you wanted to? So I'm not gonna do it, but just for, let's look real quick. Bam, where's settings? Well, because Erin Patterson factory reset her phone 4 times. One time she did it remotely while the police had it in custody. After she was it, yeah, it was an iPhone, right? Is that what it was? Okay, so, like, but I'm just seeing how difficult it is. So here I am, sound, display, backup or copy. Yeah. Okay, search settings. Factory. Here we go. Erase all data, factory reset, system reset options. I'm gonna push it. I'm not gonna do it, but I'm just seeing. Okay, so reset mobile network, reset this, erase eSIMs, delete private space, reset Bluetooth. Okay, we're backing out. We're scared of this button. We don't want to do that. So there's several steps to it, right? Oops, I accidentally did it. Can you imagine? Oh my God, that would be a nightmare, right? You would have to redo all your stuff, right? You'd have to put your apps on. Oh yeah, God, can you imagine? So you got, I mean, again, getting rid of your phone, whatever, sure. But just to randomly do that, please, that would be a nightmare. Can you imagine? Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so okay. Okay, wait, there we go. It's the thunder and the lightning. Thunder and the lightning. Okay, what Erin Patterson did with her mobile phones. We'll speak of the devil. There we go. Mandy, Mandy turns to the prosecution's argument that Patterson handed police a dummy phone, phone B, while hiding her usual phone. He says Patterson would have either disposed of or reset her original mobile phone A if she had planned the cold, calculated murders claimed by the prosecution, but instead she continued using it after the lunch. Mandy says the stupid thing his client did was multiple factory resets of phone B, which he argues is consistent with someone who had panicked. Mandy says the police did not seize all devices from Patterson's Leongatha house and in the August search, they later retrieved at a search in November. He says Patterson had not concealed these devices. At this point, I'm thinking the true crime group she was in, they talked about everything but true crime. Had to have. Remember, it was about one specific case. And wasn't it the case of that lady who like lied about all that stuff or whatever or something? I think there, but it's like they say she was in the true crime group. I know it was centered around one case. I just feel like, so you know how like true crime stuff can go where it's like maybe the crime creates a group, but then it's more like just a group of friends talking or whatever. So I don't think they were like doing like this kind of talk right here where they're dissecting the case or like, well, what if they did this? Well, maybe the motive was that like I don't think they were talking. I think they were literally talking about anything but true crime. It just happened to be formed over a true crime case because there's no way, right? Hold on, I'm gonna mute while I take a sip of this. They might have been talking about Alex Cox, like he's. If they were like, yeah, we looked at Alex Cox as like a genius mastermind, well, then there you go. We know exactly why this ended this way. Right? If we found history where they were like Alex Cox was a genius criminal mastermind, then we 100% know why everything went the way that it did. Period. End of story. Everything then falls into place. Everything falls into place. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, pardon me. Court adjourns for a break. They come back. No evidence Patterson saw death cap mushroom post on iNaturalist. Jurors have returned to the courtroom in Morwell. They've returned to the courtroom in Morale. Mandy says the jury must cautiously approach the evidence of telecommunications expert Dr. Matthew Sorrell. You understand Dr. Sorrell's opinions are heavily qualified, he says. The complexity of what that evidence is skipped over in her submission by the prosecution. Mandy says the Crown tried to rely on Sorrell's evidence about a possible opportunity to visit Loch and Altram, where death cap mushrooms were reported on the citizen science website iNaturalist in the months before the lunch. Mandy reminds the jury there is no evidence that Patterson saw the Loch and Altram death cap mushroom post on iNaturalist. So I guess she's just trying to say she just completely randomly accidentally forged these things. Okay. Sorrell said Patterson's phone records indicate a possible visit to Locke and Altram, but cannot exclude other possibilities. Even if you thought the records did suggest that Erin's phone was in the Locke area, for example, there's no evidence that she was there to collect death cap mushrooms. It's not for us to prove that she went there for some other reason. That's a reversal of the onus of proof. Mandy says there could be a number of reasons why somebody would be in the neighboring town, but not remember why they traveled there. Excuse me. Patterson chose to subject herself to an incredible amount of scrutiny by giving evidence, defense says. Mandy says the jury, wait, hold on. Mandy reminds the jury that his client was not obliged to testify in her trial. He says the way she answered her questions was careful and even pedantic. Mandy says Patterson subjected herself to an incredible amount of scrutiny when she chose to give evidence. She says she was not trying to charm or persuade the jury, but just to answer questions truthfully. Even when the truth was deeply embarrassing or involving admitting she told lies, what more could she do? She exposed herself and her account to close examination, he says. Mandy says Patterson's evidence in the witness box remained consistent. He says if the jury finds Patterson's evidence true, they must acquit her of all the charges. He says if they he says if they reject Patterson's testimony, they still need to consider if the prosecution has proved the case beyond reasonable doubt based on their evidence. Here's the thing with this. Okay, so here's my thing. You remember if you watch Alec Murdaugh trial where it was like when that video evidence came out, or I'm sorry, like the video, you know what I'm talking about, where we heard him on the thing talking about Paul or hey Bubba or whatever the thing is he said there. And basically this was like Alex is gonna have to get on the stand and talk his way out of this. Okay. To me, this is one of those cases where I'm like, yeah, girl, whether you want to or not, you're gonna have to get on that stand. Okay, you know how they say they're fighting for their life in the comment section? This was the real life touch grass version of you're gonna have to get in that comment section and fight for your life, girl. I'm talking about hitting every comment and just fight until the end. Okay, like your life depends on it. Period. In the story that she didn't have a choice in this. There was so much like, and she probably thought she could talk her way out of it. Yeah, Cassandra says psychopaths, hold on, think they're clever than everyone else. That's why she chose to give evidence. We see it time and time again, right? It's like I can talk my way out of that. Hold my beer. Get me up on that stand. And I think it was a mixture of things with this. I think she thought she could. She was like, "Put me on that stand." And then there was like this level of like, yeah, I don't. You're gonna have to say something now. I mean, this one, I don't know. You have to talk your way out of this somehow. Okay, let's keep going. The defense disputes four key prosecution propositions. Mandy tells the jury about the top four convoluted, I love that word, and absurd propositions by the prosecution that the defense have refuted. 1. Patterson would murder the lunch guest without any motive. 2. She used the cancer lie to entice her lunch guest to her home. 3. The absurd suggestion she believed her lunch guest would take her claim about medical issues to their grave. 4. The illogical proposition that Patterson thought she could pass off the event of 3 out of 4 of her lunch guests dying as a strange case of gastro. I mean, yeah, it all sounds crazy. The standard is proof beyond reasonable doubt. Mandy refers to the case as a jigsaw puzzle and says you can't force pieces together. He says the prosecution has tried to force evidence to fit their case. He says the jurors cannot fill in the gaps in the puzzle with speculation, guesswork, and theories. You only act on the evidence because you're judges, he says. The standard is proof beyond reasonable doubt. The jurors must consider whether the prosecution has proved the case beyond reasonable doubt as evidence exists and not how they wish it, Mandy says. Mandy says the prosecution's case is flawed due to relying on misleading impressions of evidence, using hindsight to reconstruct evidence, and working backwards without expert evidence to manufacture a picture. That's what's happened here. They started at the end and work backwards, he says. I mean, what? Oh, okay, well that's okay. So that's trial resumes on Tuesday. Sorry. Yeah, I know her kids must be super confused, right? Hey, Rebecca, I'm glad you joined. Woo! So yeah, and I mean, and again, thanks Adriana for the super sticker. The kids, I mean, you gotta feel bad for them, right? I mean, come on, like, can you imagine? Because again, to me, this case, and I don't have, I'm not from there, right? But from what I've gathered, talking to people that live there and whatnot, just kind of, just the little bit that I can put the temperature of what I view the legal system to be like over there. Cases that blow up this big are very rare, right? This doesn't happen. And correct me if you live over there, like correct me wrong if I'm wrong. But my take on it is like, yeah, it's very rare in Australia for cases to grab the public the way that this one has. And especially to make it like all the way over here, like where it literally like I'm not trying to say, oh, everybody's heard about the mushroom case, but it's one of those where it's like for it to make it over here, you know what I'm saying? Where there's like this vast interest in the states, even to be like, what? You know, what was this? I mean, this is like major, especially when this popped off, but it had all the trappings there. It had all the trappings, right? The interview she did, you know, the bizarreness of the case, the tragedy of it. I mean, my gosh. Wendy Chamberlain. Was that the case they were studying, Rose? Oh, excuse me. Oh, thanks, Rebecca. I appreciate it. And thanks. So Rebecca says, Rebecca, you live over in Australia, right? Hi, Paul. Love you. Thank you very much. You're hilarious. Watch all the time now. Yes, very rare. Well, very rare to be so publicized. Yeah. Ozzy says, we've had cases that are big here in Australia. Our courts are strict to protect the process, so we can't go following it or finding info until after the trial. This one's going to be so Ozzy. And thank you for the feedback. And Sandra says, yeah, not many guns. So Katie Cat says, it's obvious it's odd that she did. But I'm in Sydney. Okay. I bet it's beautiful there. I'm fourth generation. Oh, wow. That's so cool. Oh, Dominique says I'm in Queensland. It's very rare. Okay, y'all, help me out here too. Rebecca says I work in a jail, Paul, so this is very exciting for me. So, Rebecca, can you answer this question? So, do you think is Erin like what kind of conditions do you think she's seen in jail? Like, do you think she's in protective custody and locked down all day long? Is that how that works over there? And then, secondly, do y'all remember the case where? And let me look his name up. It was the dude who killed the boyfriend. It was in Australia. I'm trying to remember. He killed his boyfriend who was a cop, or the cop killed someone, but they were boyfriends. You know what I'm talking about? And then it was like blew up, kind of like this one, but then it very much went away. Wentworth was good, y'all. I forgot about. I'm gonna need to watch that. She's considered a snarky prisoner. You had him in your jail cell, Rebecca. I'm like, Bobo, get tucked in. Bobo's not having it. Come on. Yeah, Bobo's. Oh, he's just grouchy. Bo is back under his little thing now. Luke, do you want to come say hey? Let's see if he'll let me. Bobo, come here. Bobo. What is the matter, sweetie? He's very growly. He doesn't want to be touched. Yeah, say uh-uh. I mean, they both are just, I mean, they are just being mean little dogs. I don't know what it is with them. Oh my gosh. Oh, wait, let me look them up real quick. Australian. Oh yeah, that's funny. His name's Bo too. Former Australian player is accused of murdering Luke. Y'all, Bo and Luke. Isn't that weird? And Bo and Luke over here. Oh, that's wild. Okay. And Jesse Baird in February. Okay, yeah. Okay, so where are we at with it? So 1 week ago, for alleged confidential phone calls monitored. Oh wait, hold on, y'all. So we do have some activity. So alleged killer cops jail. Hold on, phone. Let me read that again. The alleged killer cop's jail phone calls are monitored for potential media deal. Let's see what this let me get into it. No, it won't let me read it. Okay, now what's the next one? Daily Mail. You know this is going to be juicy. Alleged killer cop Beau Lemaire Condon reveals the biggest mystery over what's happened to the two men he's accused of shooting dead and the two-person disposal job in the aftermath. The woman accused of helping dispose of the bodies of two men allegedly shot dead by ex-cop is a longtime friend he met through her partner. Oh, wow, y'all, this is getting juicy. Lamar Condon has been charged with the murders of television presenter Jesse and his Qantas flight attendant boyfriend Luke. The 29-year-old has not entered pleas to the two counts of murder, but says he has offered to provide information about a second person he claims helped dump Mr. Davies and Mr. Baird's remains. A source close to Condon told Daily Mail Australia that he made the offer to police and the Director of Public Prosecutions, but they had not responded to his approach. He wants to do the right thing for the family. He wants to do the right thing for the families. I cannot with this. Let's start with not killing their family members. How about that, right? Um, he was and is happy to assist investigators with information about who else played a part in the incident. So far, both the DPP and the officer in charge have failed to reply to the offer made by his legal team for assistance because they're probably like, we don't need that. We don't need any of it. The source said Lemaire Condon disputed a witness's statement to investigators that she had waited at the fence line. Okay, so remember the woman that went, like, that said that she got like roped into it, kind of a thing. So I think now he's wanting to sit here and flip it around, maybe. And I don't know how it works over there, but if he's like, oh, I could possibly get a deal out of this, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna sit here and like implicate her. But this is how long ago? I mean, like, this seems like it took forever. In February 2024, it was just last year. It felt like it was like years ago. So, okay. Oh, that's cool, Rebecca. I appreciate it. So yeah, so we're just gonna have to see. So I bet we don't get a verdict on Erin next week, but the next week. So I know, right? Hey, oh, you don't want to come over here? I mean, very touch me not. Do you want to come say hello? He's like, nope. I'm just gonna sit on your feet. Sorry, they're camera shy tonight. So, anyways, well, I'm gonna get ready for bed, y'all. I'm tired. What? Here's the. You want to say hey? You want to say? He's like, no, not gonna do it. So I'm gonna get ready for bed. I am tired, and fading, and all the fun things. So, anyways, but that's it. So here we're almost to the end of the mushroom murders. But I hope y'all have a wonderful evening. So I will see y'all sometime tomorrow on the main channel. Tomorrow's video on the main channel is the Tylenol murders review. And I think Saturday morning is going to be the video about the Brian Koberger. Second witness comes forward. I don't even know if comes forward is the right way to say that. That whole debacle. But anyways, that's it. Thank you, mods, for being here and helping keep the cushions fluffed and everything going. Thank you, everybody, for reading through all this stuff with me. I love you. We'll listen to Slow Morrison's little song to close it out. And I shall see you tomorrow.
The pillows are fluffed thanks to Miss Emily. The couch is wide enough, join the family. It's all love while we laugh at Perk's criminalities. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup at hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh, please, the puppies need me. Oh, oh, please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credential stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup and hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Puppies need me, oh please. My body is rejecting none of that fancy credentialed stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup that hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.